My name is Jenesa Jeram. I am a research assistant at the New Zealand Initiative. The research project I worked on was about housing and ageing populations. So what housing supply will look like in the future and whether we will be able to house our population as it ages and grows. One of the findings from my research was that New Zealand's housing market is currently massively undersupplied. Looking at projections for the future, if we are struggling with housing supply now, this will get even worse in the future. As our population ages, we will need even more houses. There are a few elements to our research on housing. The first element is just recognising the problem. Through our research of the New Zealand market, we've found that there is a massive undersupply of homes that are pushing up prices. We've got a huge demand for housing and not enough supply. The reason for this is that supply is artificially constrained. The second element to our housing research is looking at why there is an undersupply of houses. And we've found with this that one of the major barriers to supply is the Resource Management Act. And so we're looking at cutting some of those regulatory burdens. One of the unique parts of the New Zealand Initiative's work on housing is our focus on local government. We've found that local government bears all the costs of infrastructure around housing, so providing sewerage and water, and yet they reap none of the benefits of housing through central government taxes and revenue. We believe that if local government is to incur the cost, they need to see some of the benefits that are currently going to central government. So it's really balancing those costs and benefits between local government and central government. And at the moment, there is way too much revenue going to central government. What we need to realise is how this affects communities. We hear a lot about NIMBYism, or not in my backyard people, who don't want to see any development in their areas because they see none of the rewards. They know that they have to pay their rates to support this infrastructure, and yet all of the benefits go to central government through tax revenue. This is also an issue of social equity. We've found that people around my age who may aspire to own homes just can't consider it anymore because that bottom rung of the housing ladder has effectively been taken out from under them. People my age should be able to aspire to own their own homes just as our parents did. But we've found that because of the undersupply of homes, this just isn't an option for many New Zealanders. What we need to realise is that ever-increasing house prices do not need to be natural law. I feel that a lot of people in New Zealand have just given up on this issue. We believe that house prices in New Zealand will just constantly be increasing, and that's just something we have to deal with. We see parents buying houses for their children because they don't want their kids to miss out on these opportunities. But all of this property speculation, all of this borrowing well beyond what people can afford in mortgages, it doesn't have to be like that. To put this in perspective, under 1% of workable land in New Zealand is currently being constructed on. For those who argue that we're running out of space or that we simply can't build new houses, look at this figure. Now that we've completed this research, what we want to do is continue this conversation. We want to be talking to ministers, we want to be talking to local government, developers and people in construction. We want to be talking to anyone who is involved with housing. What many people in New Zealand don't realise is that housing prices are attainable. They are possible. We've seen it internationally. But what we've got to do is fix these housing supply solutions. What we've got to do is ensure that demand and supply meet.